Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. If you are new here, then my name is Hermione, and on this channel I like to share ideas with you guys so that you can live your best life on a budget. Today's video is all about thrift store DIYs and charity shop DIYs, whatever you call it, wherever you're from. It's about buying secondhand things and turning them into something a little bit different. So today's video is room decor, home decor themed, and I have a few DIYs to share with you guys. I really love making these videos because I always think it's a bit of a challenge to see what you can come up with and ways that you can make something old look kind of new and more modern. And today's video is very kindly sponsored by ShopTagger, which is a service I've talked about before. I really love it. I believe in what it is. I think it's so cool for saving money and being on a budget. So basically what it is an app, and it's also a web extension, and you can use it to tag items from your favorite stores, whether it's fashion or homeware or whatever, and you can put these into collections on your profile, and ShopTagger will also notify you when these things go on sale, which is why I love it so much, because you guys know I love being on a budget. It's really great, and at the moment I'm using it a lot for homeware things and IKEA. I've been trawling the IKEA website a lot at the moment because hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm going to be moving out very soon, so I've got a lot of IKEA hacks and DIYs coming your way, but that's what I'm using ShopTagger for at the moment. I think it's great, and it's a really great way to save you money and save you time. So if you do want to check that out, the link is in the description below. It's free to download and free to use. There's no commitments, anything like that. And thank you again to ShopTagger for sponsoring this video. I really love what they're about, and it does help me make more content on this channel and help me churn out those DIYs. So with all of that being said, I think I've been talking for a little while, so it's about time we jump on in to this budget-friendly, thrifty DIY video. Let's go. First up, I'm going to show you how I upcycled this basket to make it look so much more modern and super Pinterest inspired. So for this project you'll need some kind of a basket, paint and a brush, string and some rope. So this is my basket. As you can see, it only cost me £1. So to do this project, you'll want to paint about half of the basket. I used the lines already on the basket, so I didn't mask this off, and I just used this light grey colour with a sponge brush. I then went in with an actual paintbrush to get into the cracks a little bit more. I also wanted to add some handles to the basket. These are so simple to make. To do this, you'll need to take 3 pieces of rope, tie them at the top with a thinner piece of string or wool. Make sure they're tied really tightly, and then just go ahead and plait them together. I'm sure you all know how to do a braid or a plait, but just to make things simple, I'm going to explain very quickly. All you do is take one side of the rope and pull it into the center, then take the other side and keep going until you have a length of rope that might be about, I don't know, 20 inches long, or however long you'd like to make it, depending on the size of your basket. Make 2 of these and then tie them off at the end with another piece of string, and then you can attach them to your basket like so. To make this very simple, I just used hot glue to attach the handles because it dries so quickly and it adhered them very well. So this is the finished result, and as you can see, I'm just using mine to store some scarves in for the winter. Next on the list to upcycle was this frame that I had lying around, and I decided to tile it, which is so much more simple than it sounds, trust me. So for this you will need a frame, some tiles, paint, scissors and some strong glue. This is the frame I'm using. It cost me £2, and these are the tiles. I bought them in B&Q. They were £1 in the clearance. They're the tiles that have mesh underneath, so as you can see, you can cut them very simply, and they're really movable and they're easy to work with. They're not like ceramic tiles at all, so I'd recommend getting this type of tile or some kind of craft tile if you can find those instead. So all I'm doing to attach them is using some hot glue and then placing the tiles into the hot glue while it dries. You can use any other kind of adhesives that will adhere to the wood of the frame, but the hot glue worked well for me. I would just recommend not trying to use tile grout for such a small project because it gets really messy and it takes a really long time to dry. Once you've left it to completely dry, you can go ahead and paint your tiles if you'd like. I went for this off-white colour, and if you do paint them, make sure to use a small detail brush to get into all the cracks as well, so none of the old colour shows through. And there you have it, a really simple and quick way to upcycle an old frame and make it look a little bit more modern. Moving swiftly on, I'm going to show you guys how you can upcycle an old lampshade, and I'm using this applique kind of fabric to do this that I found thrifted, of course. So you will need a lampshade, some fabric, some scissors and some glue. This is the romper that I found that was 50p and it just didn't fit me very well, and then also the lampshade was £1.50. So I decided to use this romper on a couple of crafts. So I cut it up very neatly along the hemlines to make sure I could get the most out of the fabric. I was so sad to have to do this because it was really cute, but it just didn't fit very nicely at all, and I knew I could use it for some kind of project. So if you're going to do something like this, make sure you try and find a fabric that either has this kind of applique effect or any kind of fabric with a print on it that you can cut out the details of. So I thought about actually wrapping it around the lampshade, as you can see there, but the shape of the lampshade was tapered, so it was just going to get really wonky and lumpy. So instead I decided to go ahead and very carefully cut out a few of these daisies from some of the offcuts of fabric. So I just made sure to not cut anywhere near the stitching and leave a very small outline where the mesh was, and then I stuck these all over the lampshade kind of sporadically, using once again my trusty glue gun to adhere them to the lampshade. I tried to make them spaced quite randomly, so some of them were closer together than others, and I also cut some of the daisies in half so I could do some closer to the edge and have them looking as if they were going off the side. So this is it, basically. It's such a simple DIY, really not much to it, but you can do this with any kind of print fabric. Like I said, it doesn't have to look exactly like this. It's just a fun way to give an old piece of clothing a new lease of life. So next up, because I had a little bit of that fabric left over, I decided to create this mirror piece. So for this project, you will need a mirror, some fabric, mesh fabric, and some scissors. So this is the mirror I'm using. I gave this a quick coat of paint as well, and the great thing about this is that it was able to pop out of the back, kind of like a photo frame. You could totally do this with a photo frame too, and all I'm doing is using a scrap of that fabric and covering the mirror in it, folding it over and using my glue gun to secure the edges. The reason I wanted to make this piece is because I saw in an old magazine something that looked really similar. It was a mirror with some kind of wooden overlay on it, and it had this mesh in between it, and it looked almost just like this, it just wasn't daisy. So I was like, that's super simple, it looks like a really cool art piece, so I'm gonna try and make it with some of this leftover fabric. So once that was done, all of that being said, I just went ahead, popped it back into the frame, and then stood it up on my desk. And obviously this isn't a mirror anymore, it's more of just kind of like an impractical art piece, but I don't know, I just love the daisies, I love the way it looks, and I'm really pleased with it. Okay, so next up is a super simple hack for updating an old cushion cover. It's so easy, I promise you guys. What you'll need for this is a cushion cover, some ribbon of your choice, scissors, and fabric glue. This is the cushion I found. It's an IKEA one, brand new. I found it thrifted, so that's cool. So go ahead and iron it to get rid of any of the creases. You'll need to wash it afterwards, just FYI. So then you can go ahead and lay out your ribbon. I chose this lovely stripy ribbon. I love stripes, so that was my reasoning for that, I guess. And I did 4 lines of striped ribbon, and using some fabric glue, I just coated the back of the ribbon really generously with the glue, and then I flipped the ribbon over and pressed it down onto the cushion cover. Once you've placed your ribbon down, if it's coming over the sides like in my design, then you just want to snip the edges off and then seal those edges to make sure it doesn't fray. I'm just using a little bit of fabric glue to do this, and then carry on with the rest of your design. You can make any kind of design with these ribbons. You can make some really pretty geometric designs too, but this is a very simple one that I went for. I love that kind of coastal look, so it fits really well with my room. Okay, we're on the final stretch now, you guys. The last one is this fabric planter upcycle. It's so simple. For this project, you will need a plant pot, some thick fabric like a rug, some scissors, and some glue. I'm using this offcut from a rug that I used in my last thrifting DIY video, and I'm also using this plant pot. So what you're going to need to do is cut it to size and leave about 1 inch to 2 inch depending on how much excess you want to fold over the top. Then just go ahead and wrap it around your plant pot and glue it into place. I'm using hot glue because I find that it really adheres fabric well together and it's not going to come off. Once your glue has completely dried, you can go ahead and wrap that excess around the rim of the plant pot and cut any extra little bits off if you need to. And there you have it, a very simple way to upcycle a planter without damaging it for good, and it's very inexpensive. You can do this with any kind of fabric too. So that's everything for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I love doing these upcycling videos. If you do want to see more, please let me know by giving it a like and letting me know in the comments. Also, let me know in the comments what you've picked up in a charity shop recently or what you've thrifted that you want to DIY. I'd love to know about that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. I hope you have a great week and goodbye.